You said in the documentary that that was the moment that you went from Mike to Michael Jordan. What did you mean by that?
Well, up until that point, no one knew who I was. I was a college kid, other than the university. But outside the university, I was just known as Mike Jordan. And when I hit that shot, my whole name became Michael Jordan, and I think it resonated with a lot of people outside of UNC. So and I just started piling on that name itself from the successes that I endured throughout the rest of my career. It wasn't about Michael. It wasn't about Mike. It was more about Michael. Yeah.
Yeah, it really was at that point, and people remember it so well. They have that iconic shot of yours. We hear from your father as well, and boy, did he know his son. He said, if you want to get the best out of Michael Jordan, you tell him he can't do something. And we're going to show a clip that really personifies that, because it was your second year in the league, and you had an injury. You wanted to get back out on the court. Management had another idea about that. I want people to take a look. This is what happened.
Michael asked him, well, if I play, what percentage is there that I'm going to get hurt again? Doctor said, 10%.
And I just lost it. I said, look, it's 10% chance, but it's 90% chance that I won't.
And then I chimed in to the doctors, what happens if the 10% kicks in? And they said, well, then his career would be over.
Wow, everybody's just thinking about the negative. Well, I think the glass is half full. Everybody thinking it's half empty.
So I said to Michael, you're not understanding the risk-reward ratio. If you had a terrible headache and I gave you a bottle with pills and 9 of the pills would cure you and 1 of the pills would kill you, would you take a pill?
And I look at him, I said, depends on how bad the headache is.
Okay, I gotta apologize to your mom that we did bleep it out, but sorry that we used that particular clip. I know Dolores is going like, really? But where did that perseverance, that drive come from, Michael? Where does it come from?
My parents. My father worked at General Electric for years. He was trying to provide for his family. We moved all over, southern North Carolina. My mom worked for a bank. She worked for Corning Glass. They were hardworking people. And they instilled that in not just me, but my brothers and sisters. So, and I just lived vicariously through them and lived and learned it from them. And, it just became a part of my nature, and I always look at a negative and turn it into a positive. Fortunately, things like that happens in our life. And as I try to teach my kids, just take that negative, learn from it, and turn it into a positive. And that all came from my parents.
Yeah, and you were keeping up with your brothers as well. We learned that in the docuseries that you were a tight-knit family, and they really, you guys pushed each other to be the very best, and that's certainly
I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my brother Larry. Larry pushed me, and we used to fight after every game, but through that fight, emerged someone like me, and he's right next to me. He supports me and he works with me in the team, and I would have never gotten this far without him.
Phil Jackson was to the evolution of Kobe.
When he came here, everything changed for me and how I viewed the game. To that point, I really thought about the game from a tactical perspective and executing and fundamentals and training, right? The surface things.
Man, you gotta see so much stuff. Just pivot work, like without even having a basketball. It's just, run, set a pick, then spin, pivot, go, then stop, change the direction. Like without a basketball. Like practice layups without a basketball. It's weird.
I learned the spirituality of the game, the mindfulness that comes with the game. Understanding how to put yourself aside, how to try to quiet your ego, right? And play effortless basketball. And that approach to the game was something that I felt really separated me from the pack.
Look, I see one shot. If they come on a single double with Jason Kidd, or coming down the dribble, that's the other one. Get on the top side. I guess
when you talk about your sense of purpose in basketball, did some of that come from Phil Jackson?
Sense of purpose. No, a sense of purpose was there ever since I was a kid. I knew exactly. I felt like I knew what God put me on this earth to do. just play the game of basketball. I just love it so much.
Make a decision one way or another. You get indecisive, and then all of a sudden he picks you. Then behind the angle. Right. Dribble wing, Ron. Bring it over here.
I think what Phil did, Phil piqued my interest to say maybe there's a deeper level to this. That maybe there's something more, there's something greater to this game.
You want first place, come play with me. You want second place, go somewhere else. Like I would watch Magic play. I'd watch Michael play. And I would see them do these unbelievable things, and I'd say, can I get to that level? I don't know, but let's find out. That's why he's the best player in the game. Everything was done to try to learn how to become a better basketball player. Everything. And so when you have that point of view, then literally the world becomes your library to help you to become better at your craft.
So because you know what you want, the world's giving you exactly the information you need to become better at it.
Because you know what you're looking for.
So many guys tell stories about your work ethic.
Yeah.
What was really your work ethic like, and for how long did you stay disciplined?
Well, I mean, every day. Since 20 years. It was an everyday process, and trying to figure out strengths and weaknesses. For example, jumping ability. Man, my vertical was a 40, it wasn't a 46 or a 45. My hands are big, but they're not massive, right? So you got to figure out ways to strengthen them, so your hands are strong enough to be able to palm a ball and do the things that you need to do. Quickness, I was quick, but not insanely quick. I was fast, but not ridiculously fast, right? So I had to rely on skill a lot more. I had to rely on angles a lot more. I had to study the game a lot more. And but I enjoyed it though. So like from the time I can remember when I started watching the game, I studied the game and it just never changed. It's a good separation for me, emotionally, to be able to put myself in a place where at practice or when I'm training or during games, I switch my mind to something else. Switch my mode into something else, right? For me, it's the equivalent of Maximus, Decimus, Meridius, and Gladiator picking up the dirt, smelling the dirt. It's go time, right? So that was my mental switch. It was like an actor getting ready for a film. You got to put yourself in that cage. When you're in that cage, you are that character. And then when you leave there, it's something completely different. But when I'm in that cage, bro, don't touch me, don't talk to me. Just leave me alone.
How did you get mentally and emotionally so strong where it doesn't bother you?
Well, you got to look at the reality of the situation. Like for me, it's not, you kind of got to get over yourself. Like, it's not about you, man. Like, okay, you feel embarrassed. You're not that important. Like, get over yourself.
That's where you go.
Get over yourself. Right? Like you're worried about how people may perceive you, and like you're walking around and it's embarrassing because you shot 5 air balls. Get over yourself, right? And then after that, it's okay, well, why did those air balls happen? Got it. High school, year before, we played 35 games, max, right? Week in between, spaced out, plenty of time to rest. In the NBA, it's back to back to back to back to back to back to back. I didn't have the legs. So you look at the shot, every shot was online. Every shot was online, but every shot was short, right? I got to get stronger. I got to train differently. The weight training program that I'm doing, I got to tailor it for an 82-game season so that when the playoffs come around, my legs are stronger and that ball gets there. So I look at it with rationale and say, okay, well, the reason why I shot air balls is because my legs aren't there. I go, well, next year they'll be there. That was it.
Done.